Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here of Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 294. Thank you for joining us tonight. Brian, I am a sleepy boy today. Very little sleep, Brian. But
Why, did anything happen yesterday, Jim?
well, Brian, we're only recording this on February the 10th, and
It was a public massacre. It was a thing of goddamn beauty, and it's been a while coming. Granted,
but
it's only been 2 years for our revenge, but we got it, Jim.
I mean, holy shit! Like, it's got to be like that. Must have been a terrible game to watch for anyone who either isn't an Eagles fan or isn't a extreme Chiefs hater. Like, because that game was never close. It was
No.
it was a blowout basically from the beginning. Like, there's a lot of when's the last time you saw the quarterback get pulled and rested and the backup come in a fucking Super Bowl?
Well, that especially
I could not tell you if I've ever seen that before.
I don't even know how much time was left, but
It
it was pretty early.
was a good 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, I think. Maybe around 4-ish.
I mean, let's face it though. We all knew what the deal was. I mean, they dumped the Gatorade well before the 2-minute warrant. Like, everyone knew. In that fourth quarter, I know you were still sweating bullets, but I was like, Mahomes is not Brady. He's not even close to Brady. That team did not perform even a little okay. The refs were not sucking them off, and shocker, it seemed to have a little bit of an effect, even though one of our first drives, we got a bullshit call. And then it turned around and we got a bullshit call. So it evened out.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, it's the Negadelphia in me. I watch all the sports, probably Sixers least of all of them, but like I still dabble here and there. And being a Philadelphia sports fan, right? I'm talking about football right now, so I'm good. But yeah, so like if you watch Philly sports, you're just used to heartbreak after heartbreak. Now, I know we just won a Super Bowl when, oh my God, you lose. Like when there's, people who live in Detroit and shit like that, like all these other places that have like no championships ever. So yeah, obviously, but when you're a four-sport town and you're projected to do really well and you blow it year after year, I'm just glad we beat fucking Andy Reid. God, that was one of the worst nights of, well, obviously, exaggerating, but when we lost to Andy Reid that first time, that was just a knife through the heart, man. So it's sweet catharsis. That's all it is.
I mean, like I said, I
look, Brian, real quick. You tell the people of Atlanta if you could be comfortable with the 25-point lead. All right. I'm just saying things happen.
I would never be that comfortable with Tom Brady. With Mahomes, I am very comfortable with that because I'm sorry, he's overrated. I'm saying it. I know you're a Mahomie. I know you're obsessed with him. You couldn't stop sucking him off all season, but
Right, I just love State Farm. All right.
No. Honestly, here's the deal. I said I've always been more concerned if we could even get to the Super Bowl this year than I said if when we played them 2 years ago, it's basically the same team except improved. So I was like, we were neck and neck. That bullshit call, and then they got a fucking field goal to beat us. It's not like they blew us out of the water. I wasn't worried about them from that standpoint. I was very confident we were going to win. I could have never projected how bad we fought. And you know what actually pisses me off? I know this is logistics, but in like 10 years when nobody knows, someone might look at that score. It's still a blowout, 22, 40-22, but it doesn't tell the story of just how, like, we literally just gave them that like bomb and everything. We didn't give a fuck at that point. Like, it literally could have stayed 40. I mean, yeah, it was, the numbers will never tell the true story.
No, yeah, that was pure garbage time stat padding. But yeah, wow, just holy shit. Like the offense was perfect, the defense was perfect. Fucking Jake Elliott was perfect, and he's been sucking all year. I mean, I guess he's a dome guy now. He can't handle like real fields, but you know what? He did his job. So I mean, just
dude, when twice we got fucking called for our snapper and it pushed him back, and the one time, what was it, like 48 yards or so. I was
He
like,
he hit 248s and a 50.
yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ. But he would, like you said, I honestly can't think of a single time where I was like, that was a terrible play call. That was terrible. Like I was like, no, they legit played a perfect game. I mean,
Yeah.
to, I don't. I think everyone, even though I think we can all agree, we all want it. We all want Saquon to go off, but they were so scared of him that they had him shut down, which allowed us open us up for all the shit we could do. But still, I think we all like. I wanted him to get a touchdown so bad, like
Yeah.
so bad. Fucking Dotson out of nowhere. I was like, dude, if he would have got that, like somebody probably had a crazy prop bet and was like, get it. But then they called it back, and then you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, even then,
yeah,
Dotson still had a hell of a game. That's like what you need in the championships, like when you have a random guy step up. Like back in
hmm
2017 when we won, like when Corey Clement had like the game of his life out of nowhere. So, every once in a while you need those bench warmers to just like break out and be the guy that no one expects to do anything. But yeah, I mean, for anyone who watched that game, you basically watched one team play a perfect game. Like that was
dude, yeah.
ridiculous.
And here's the deal. I firmly believe there is enough Kansas City hate that like people were getting enjoyment just out of that purely. Like I feel like who was Super Bowl last year?
Chiefs and 49ers.
Yeah, I feel like that was a boring one. Um
No, that was
this
pretty back and forth. I thought that was an okay one. Like I'll say the 2017 one I think is a more enjoyable watch for anyone who like just wants to watch a football game because
oh
that was
yeah.
so back and forth with us and the Patriots and Brady. But this one, just as an Eagles fan,
It
oh
was
my god,
I mean, there's plenty of moments we did right, but I mean I think most people would agree. Like the combo of Cooper getting it on his birthday and getting that pick six was like, and dude, it's so funny because I was over with Juan and I was like, dude, I'll bet you anything right now on this down we're gonna get a pick six and just fucking happen. And I couldn't like Cooper to get it on your birthday, dude. Can you imagine that dude's like that's the highlight of his life.
as a rookie too. So he
22.
he had a pick six on this in the Super Bowl as a rookie on his birthday, and it was Barkley's birthday too, which is awesome. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, like holy shit, it's almost like man, almost. How do you go up from there, really?
you can't. Yeah, I mean, I as you said, as a rookie, dude, he's probably gonna have an amazing career. But to do that, like, yeah, I don't know if that'll be like Saquon's backwards leap. His crazy runs have already been technically better, but nothing's gonna break that highlight, So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was a great game. I'll be
So
honest,
talk all about the production. The commercials I thought all mostly sucked.
they
So
sucked completely. I don't think there was one where I was like, like no.
yeah, none of them did it for me. Maybe like the McConaughey one where he was like dressing up as like Mike Ditka. I was like, yeah, it's okay. But yeah, the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar. What did you think? It seems to be a hot topic on the socials.
Um, I I'm not obsessed with Kendrick Lamar. I like his music, but yeah, it was what I probably expected. I think we knew he was gonna diss Drake. I think most people probably didn't even understand what he was saying enough or understood context to appreciate what was happening. Um, as someone who I love my revenge and I love to go all out, to look in the camera and say, "Hey Drake," while you're smiling on the Super Bowl, that's a next level pettiness that I can appreciate. But it was pretty boring. But then again, I can't tell you a halftime show that really wowed me in the past like 10 years. So I don't think it was abnormally worse than any of them. I definitely don't think it was better.
The
It
only problem
was,
I think the only problem with Kendrick Lamar's music is that it doesn't have like catchy hooks for the most part. Like
no.
not like us is catchy, but like everything else is just like real cerebral kind of shit.
hmm
So it's like, yeah, you don't have like, the late 2000s like ringtone rap as they used to call it. It just has
hmm
like that catchy bop and shit, and they're all one hit wonders. So, he's way deeper than that. He had all of his political messaging and shit like that going on there. Like I thought he put on a good performance, even though I barely know any Kendrick Lamar songs. So it's not like I was really like, oh shit, he's playing this one. So,
Yeah.
but like he didn't lip sync at all. He actually like worked through all of his lyrics because nothing got bleeped out. So he literally took out all the curses and questionable crap and put in new lyrics and remembered all of them. And like,
Hmm.
if you've ever been to like a hip hop show, like you're lucky if a guy gets you 30 seconds of a song before going to the next one. Like they almost never remember a lot of the stuff. Then again, I've been to like two hip hop shows, so that's probably a very small sample size to be pulling from. I mean, look at me here. Come on. But but yeah, I mean, I was more impressed with the actual performance than, the quality of like, the songs and shit like that. But I mean, if you like Kendrick, I'm sure you loved it. But yeah, fucking Drake, man. You have 80,000 people call you a pedophile to 100 million people watching at home. So while he's wearing a chain that's the symbol of A minor.
A minor. Yeah. Well, it's
So
funny because where I was at, half people were like, "Why has he got an Amazon A on?" I was like, "That's not the Amazon A." But here's the deal. Yeah, like I get it. Listen, especially I've seen Twitter. I've seen the two sides, right? Like on one hand, they're like, "Oh man, so brave. He's like talking shit to Trump while he's there. He's doing this imagery." Um, and then the other half is like, I don't know who this guy is. I didn't understand the lyrics. Da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, that's probably a perfect division. Either someone was like fully in love with it, or was like, who the fuck is this? So that's actually what it was like where I was at yesterday. Half of them were like, I don't know who this is. Other half loved them. So yeah, it was fine. Um, Drake's got to be pissed. That's all I can say.
I mean, so you want to talk hater of the year. So if you don't know the backstory, like, I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole feud, but when he first released Not Like Us in like early 2024, it was just like a song on his YouTube, no video, no nothing. And it blew up into charts and was like, holy shit, he just called him a pedophile in a song. And then 3 months later, he released a music video for it, putting it back to number one to have more people learn about it, to have more people go, oh shit, he's calling Drake a pedophile. And then he released another album that kept going to number one, so it kept Not Like Us in the charts. And then he just had this halftime show, and he just won a Grammy for a song where he calls Drake a pedophile. That's the all-time haterist of hater awards right there. What a goddamn victory lap that is. It's a year-long victory lap.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know
So
how you ever recover from that.
no, I don't. But no, I mean, like, yeah. So from production wise, I did, of course, enjoy seeing Taylor Swift booed.
Yep.
Um,
Oh my god, the Swifties going off on Twitter today.
oh, they're so upset. They're like, yeah, all you cringy guys booing her. She sold out that stadium multiple times. What'd she ever do? It's like, shut up. Just like her terrible boyfriend. I love seeing him so sad. Him and Mahomes, when they would zoom in on their face and those sad faces, I was like, that fed my soul. I was like,
Oh,
fuck both of them.
they were some mopey bitches in that game.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Well, I've been to
listen,
5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them.
like I said, I can probably agree with you though. I do think if anyone wasn't a full hater and you decide to watch it, it was probably like, well, this isn't even competitive. Like, and seeing how the Chiefs played, it's like you can make an argument. I love people were trying to make the argument like, oh yeah, the refs were in Eagles pockets this time, and
There really weren't.
I'm like,
I think probably more calls went against the Birds. We had less impactful ones, but
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But I'm saying people put that narrative, so it's like, so if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you have to live with one of two things. One, you do recognize that this season you were babied to a crazy degree by the refs, or the Eagles are just literally that much better than you that they can almost fucking blow you out. Which reality would you rather live with?
dude, they sacked him 6 times and they never blitzed once.
That's
They
the craziest part. That we never. I was like, dude, that is insane. Like, fuck, man. To see Graham get in there a couple times, it was. Oof.
Yeah, I mean that's a swan song game, so what a hell of a way to go out for him.
Yeah. So yeah, no. To me, perfect Super Bowl. I know most might not agree with that, but and here's the thing. I think you can say what you want, but like Jalen is such a likable guy, and I still fault him. I'm like, you need to smile. You just won the goddamn Super Bowl. I know you're Mr. Cool and Calm and Collected, but like, all right, you can start smiling a little more. But no, I think it was perfect. I love they tried to make it seem like the celebrations had all this crazy rioting when we're literally comparatively to what we've seen other Super Bowl towns, there was like two or three incidents that happened, but otherwise it was fine. And I'm like, yeah,
Oh, like
it could have been a lot worse.
oh, suddenly we care about traffic lights, the thing we always hate.
Exactly.
Wah.
But yeah, I mean, I depending who we keep, depending on how it goes, this is a really good team. It's a really young team. So, you know, let's just keep it going. But yeah, no, it was very, very late night. You pointed out. I didn't get home till 11:30. So yeah, and I was still amped up. So yeah, I was a tired boy this morning.
Oh, I was out at the gathering point until probably about like 1 in the morning, and then still came back and had a beer with my neighbor. So I don't think I got to bed until at least 2.
But yeah, no, I think it was pretty good. But Chambers, since you did get in so goddamn late, what are you sipping on tonight?
Well, Bry, I'm keeping the birds train rolling. I didn't do it before the game. I'm doing it now. From Sly Fox Brewing, I am drinking their Blitz Vienna Lager. Sly Fox comes out of Pottstown, PA, so nice and close and local. 5.4% alcohol. And yeah, no write up on here, but you know what? There's not a lot to say about this one. It's got a nice malty aroma. It's super smooth. It's a lager, and it's really really good.
That's the
If
one I had about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I agree. It's a very good beer.
Yeah, if you pack a cooler and you take it to a Super Bowl celebration, it is a great one to pound while fireworks are blowing off right behind you.
Jim, by the way, superstition in me, the same jersey I wore last game, I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna wash it. I'm just gonna leave it at home, bring it back on when because I watch in the same place. We all made sure we sat in the same seats, all that shit. I was looking at beer. Last time I had brought the Yards Brawler and I wanted to bring something different, but I was like, nope, I gotta get it again. So I did that, went through at least six of those bad boys. They go down smooth. Kind of wish I had them right now. Call it a spoiler. Tonight I was like, you know what? Let's get back to some video game beers. Super Mash Brothers. I feel like one of us has had this before. I'm not sure.
It sounds
Um,
like something we would have had.
it's got the little Super Mario Brothers, presumably the head brewers on there. This comes out of Stable 12 Brewing Company. This is a New England style IPA and it is 6.4% with 55 IBUs. So I told Jim while we were doing the Krusty Corner, I poured it in and I was like, that's odd. There's chunks in my beer. Now you won't be able to see it because I have like you might kind of see it right there at the butthole of the glasses, I like to call it. But I was like, that's weird. I just bought this and it was in the refrigerator. Yeah, this has a date on here of 5/15/24. I don't know if that's Best By or expired by, but not the greatest beer right now, Jim. So kind
Hurting
of
a little
like
bit
last
there.
week, kind of like last week where I had a beer that was too warm. This time I'm like, I don't want to fully judge it. I would rather have a fresh one to know, but it's not my favorite. Ton of lacing, has that very muddy kind of orange juice look to it. I don't know if that's because it's sitting and has a sediment in it, but
That looks like a very heavily creamed coffee at this point.
yeah, it's not the greatest. So it is what it is, Chambers. But what you been playing this week leading up to the bowl?
So I have started to get into Pikmin. That's on my resolution list. I wanted to like after I finished up RoboCop, I was like, I should just jump right into Terminator. And I was like, wait, Let me give myself a little break. Don't want to burn myself
Hmm.
out because it's going to basically be the same type of game. So went in the complete opposite direction. Uh, my first level or two, it's broken up into days. Basically, you have 30 days to get 30 parts to your ship. And the first day or two, I was kind of like, man, I don't get it. I don't think I'm enjoying this. And then eventually
Hmm.
I started to understand what I was doing. So I already kind of assume I'm in a spot right now where unless I really start kicking some ass, I'm probably going to fail this run and then I'll have to do another one. But it's going to be one of those ones where I think where once you know the order of what to do, it like doesn't really change that much from there. So,
Mm.
but yeah, you have to, get more pieces to your ship to unlock more areas, to unlock more powers, to be able to go back to other areas. So like it's not like a Metroidvania, but it has that kind of feel to it where it's like backtracking with like newly
Mm.
acquired powers and crap. But it's 3D little sandboxes that you go around in. But it also kind of has like real-time strategy elements at the same time. So it's a weird mishmash of stuff, but now that I get it, it's kind of cool. I'm playing it through the collection on the Switch, and it's weird because like the menus run at like a perfect 60 frames, but then when you play the actual game, it's probably like
Mm.
around 30. So that's a little jarring. Like I think it could have been a little smoother or like more optimized, but so far I'm liking it. I'm not loving it. It's definitely got like a lot of that early 2000s jank, like it's from 2001, but I'm enjoying my time with it so far.
That came out first on GameCube, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah, I know you've been talking about wanting to try it for a while, so I'm curious if it will hook you or not. Um, Speaking of being hooked, so yeah, I am balls deep in Red Dead too, and like I get it now. Like I'm at that point now where I'm hooked. I'm still somehow a little over 50% through the story, but I'm up to 55% through the entire game. And I'm like, I don't know how those numbers, because I'm not going out of my way to do side shit. Like, I am doing some side things, but I'm not like super trying, except now I'm like, oh yeah, I probably should do this special hunt because it gives me a trinket that helps some stat or some shit like that. But yeah, like I keep discovering little tips, little secrets. So yeah, no, I just I'm trying to get in as many gaming sessions as possible because I'm like I just need to get through the story because I'm at the point where I was about to like start another game because I actually got RoboCop, the Alex Murphy edition. It was on like crazy sale. I got it for like $20, like
Oh,
the
nice.
better version. So I was like, oh shit, yeah, no, get it now. But I was like, no, because here's a problem. I'll start another game, and GTA is one of those where I forget, or like Red Dead's Rockstar, I forget the control scheme really fast, and I kind of forget like what does what. So I'm like, I have to stick to it and just go all the way through. So don't know how much longer it's going to take me. I'm really trying to just focus on main story, but I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I mean, there's a reason it got as much praise as it did.
Yeah, I
So.
mean, you've been going with that for over a month now, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much a month at this point. So we'll see. We'll see how long it takes.
Yeah, and actually, when I'm done Pikmin, I might start going hard on X-Men Clone Wars because all of my computer parts are in now. So I'm gonna have someone I know put it together for me because I know I'd fuck it up. So I want it optimally done. I want good airflow. I want the works. So I'm gonna have someone do it for me and make it done right. But because I can't record footage on this computer anymore, it just shits out. So that'll be when I get into that. And the reason I'll be playing X-Men The Clone Wars is because that is a Patreon review request. Thanks to the good people at our Patreon, patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer on each and every single episode of this Power Hour podcast. So, just one this week, and it is from good old Todd Howard Sucks. Congrats on the win, boys. Hope you aren't too hungover. I'm shockingly not that hungover. Like, I woke up and I was like, ugh, but that was more tired than anything. So, Bri, that's Milk Thistle to the rescue right there. That's what that is.
God damn it. Or you're just babying some bitch beers.
Milk Thistle. Should the day after the Super Bowl be a national holiday, as is one of the biggest call in sick days of the year? Yes.
I say yes, especially for the teams that are in it. Like 100% it should be. School should be off. Like any
No, no, no,
Philly
no, no, no,
based.
no, 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 no. Schools should be open because if you want to get some goddamn rest the next day, you need to ship those kids out to fucking school. All right.
No,
So
you just tell them
adults, national holiday for the kid.
to entertain themselves, Jim.
No, Brad. No,
I
they need to learn. The youths need to
yeah,
learn.
because I'm trying to remember. So we were in Drexel. I feel like didn't we come in the Monday after? Wait, no, no, the Super Bowl in '04. It was '05. So we
No,
were in Drexel, right?
no, oh yeah, it was the '04 team, so it would have been '05. Yeah, we would have been in school at that point. We were freshmen.
I feel like I remember that being so goddamn such a miserable day to go in. Like we were in on a Monday, like that sucked. But yeah, no,
That was
like
pure heartbreak. Yep.
I totally do think there should be off or companies just be a little more lenient. Like I said, especially for the teams inside. If you just live in fucking Vegas and you're just whatever, don't give a fuck about teams, no. But for the ones there, it doesn't need to be a national holiday. Make it regional.
Or you know what? Just make it an unsung rule where it's like, you know what? Everyone gets a 2 hour delay. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like the thoughts of that though. There's enough goofy ass holidays out there. Add
Brian,
it to the list.
which ones are goofy?
I don't even know the names of all of them at this point. There's a lot of goofy fucking ones.
Brian, you keep talking about this one in June and keep bitching about it for some reason. I always forget which one.
Wait, now I'm actually trying to think which one is in June. There's a holiday in June? Wait. Wait.
It's
What?
in the name of the holiday, Brian.
Oh, Juneteenth? What
Yeah.
is that one even for? I don't even remember.
That's a good question. I never really truly knew what it was
I
for.
don't know what it's for.
No,
I
I think it's like, just like remembrance of like the struggle of like slavery and all that stuff.
Okay. Well, Jim, I know you don't like that one, so yeah.
What? Hey, don't you reverse Uno card that on me, motherfucker.
But yeah, seeing as this is, like it or not, it's our national sport. It's the only sport we have that is unique to just the U.S. I think we should use it as a national holiday.
I mean, it makes sense. I
I
like how
like it.
they're like, and apparently this was the most watched by projections, the most watched Super Bowl ever. Which, and then of course, all the soccer fans are like, "Oh, World Cup, 1.5 billion." It's like, shut up.
Yeah,
No one cares about your poor fucking. Oh, we only need a goddamn ball to kick sport. Like, shut
yeah.
up.
It's not a manly sport. We know that.
Oh, someone fell over and is crying again. Shut up. I like my sports where they get injured to the point of near death or decreased quality of life for my entertainment.
Listen, CTE or no bueno. That's what I say.
That's goddamn right.
No, but good question though. And yeah, cheers, bud. I hope you were rooting for the birds with us.
He was sending some messages during it. So,
Attaboy.
and yeah, so that wraps it up. Once again, thank you to everyone out there for all the support. If you're just getting into football after this awesome Super Bowl and you want to learn more about it, maybe take a class on Skillshare and use our code DBPG30 to get 30% off your annual fee for one class. So head on over to there, use our link, and maybe learn a little something. Maybe
Yeah,
learn
guys.
why that was the best performance in the history of the Super Bowl.
And as a little bit of bonus content, if you want to hear from Jim's crusty corner all about lesbian car racing the game, head on over. Support us with that $1 and you'll see that bonus content. But thank you guys. We always appreciate all the support. And make sure get those questions in and week out. Thank you.
Oh, and Bri, you need to say it right because that game is called Car Lesbians, the lesbian car racing game. And you can hear all about it for as little as $1. Links below.
God damn it, Jim. All right, Chambers. So, you know what's funny? I mentioned that beer I had last week that wasn't so good, warm. Much like the Eagles, I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can give these guys a little redemption. See if the comeback this week is any better. Just waiting for the head to dissipate, but that last beer, man. Whew. All right, that was no bueno. But speaking of comebacks, speaking of, well, I'll never call Nintendo a fucking underdog, but I will say the Switch has been on the hunt for a while to try and claim that number one spot as the best-selling console of all time. And as of December 31st, they have sold over 150 million units, which means they are only 10 million away, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely insane. Over 150 million units sold. Over 1.35 billion what do you call it? Pieces of software sold. So absolutely insane numbers being put up by this. So yeah, this comes from Mario 64. And yeah, you see there are other top sellers here. So like the Nintendo 3DS sold like 75 million units. The original Wii sold a little over 100. The DS line itself sold 154 million units with, but that's a bunch of different variations combined. And yeah, it goes down from
They
there.
padded those numbers, but well, even I guess they did the same with the. Well, it's funny. The Game Boy sold 118. But once again, I think is that the Game Boy and the Game Boy
Game Boy and Game
Color?
Boy Color. They
Okay, so they
Game Boy
combined
Light,
it.
Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket. Don't forget that. And yeah, then the Game Boy Advance, they made that its own separate line.
Yeah. So fucking Wii in there, Wii U alone. I
Woo, poor Wii U.
I mean, yeah, nothing comes close to Switch, and we've said like at the end of the day, you've combined portable with your console. It makes most sense in the world. Can they sell 10 million? Here's the deal. I'm not. I know I'm not mathing this right. I don't think 10 million people are going to go out and buy it. I know there's absolute crazy ass collectors out there. But that still seems like a fucking lot. Knowing the two is like, when's that release happening for the two?
I think it's going to be projected for this year, maybe next year. I think they're doing April 2nd. They're doing the official Nintendo Direct for the Switch too. So we'll find out then
So
probably.
unless there's some kind of like crazy discounted flash sale, I don't know how you move 10 million units knowing this shit is gonna like be replaced very soon.
And it's even crazier because they've never lowered the price on it. The
I know.
Switch and the Switch OLEDs and the Switch lights have all been the same price as the day they came out for this entire like going on 8 year life cycle, which is
Hmm.
absolutely crazy, and they still sold that many units. That's
Yeah.
insane. Because like by late in the PS2's life, that's still the top dog, but you had the PS Slim by then. You had massive price cuts. Even the PS3 was already out by then. So, like, what's going on here with the Switch is just absolutely insane. It's true. It's lightning in a bottle at the very least.
Well, and I've always said the Switch has that nice price point of it's aimed at kids, and at the end of the day, even us old ass gamers can still appreciate gaming is meant for kids, and not everyone's gonna run out and buy their kid a brand new Xbox or PlayStation. And the Switch is that nice median where it's like, oh yeah, that's more affordable. Even in today, a parent or a grandparent who buys a system for their kid, this is still cheaper than any PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah.
So it's still like the more attractive. That if there was another console in the mix that somehow like if the Xboxes or PlayStations had a version that was cheap enough to compete, I think that's where you would start seeing those numbers dwindle a little bit. So it begs the question, do we think the Switch 2 is going to hold around that price tag or is it going to be probably closer to 400?
It's got to be a little more expensive just because it's gonna be stronger. I
Yeah.
can't see it not being the same price tag.
I mean,
And given the unknowingness of potential tariffs and international bullshit right now, it could be even higher than that. So time will tell.
Jim, you don't say. Is there something crazy going on day to day?
Nah. It's status quo. It's fine. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's all good. Everything's great. But Brian,
Um,
the Switch 2, part of its sales, and this is a little debate that we've had ongoing for a couple years now about
mhm.
the importance of first party titles and console exclusivity. And now, far be it from me to say that, the stats are looking like it's in my favor because the Xbox One or the Xbox Series line apparently only sold about 2 million units of hardware last year, which is an absolute disaster if that's true. I'm gonna have to look more into that for next week. But they don't have no, they went a long time without any first party games. But the Switch, besides being 150 million units sold, is the console with the highest number of first party million sellers. Now, it's probably a little fucky with the numbers here because a lot of them are going to be like, reissues of Wii U games. But
Hmm.
I mean, no one bought the Wii U, so for 99% of gamers, these are all new games to them anyway. But yes, the Switch with 72 first party games that sold over a million copies. The next closest is the DS with 55, the 3DS with 50, and then finally out of the Nintendo realm, the original PlayStation with 49. And then it just keeps going down from there. At the
So,
bottom is the original Xbox and PS5 tied with 5. And my lovely Sega Genesis is not listed.
um, so okay, I have a few issues with this chart. One, so if you read into the chart and it comes to us from NintendoEverything.com, they said if you want to see more, like you can see the list here. When you click on the list, there's maybe 15 games highlighted. And it's all the ones you would expect. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Animal Crossing, Super Smash Brothers, Legend of Zelda, yada yada yada. With the lowest one being listed at Luigi's Mansion 2 at 1.8 million. But you're telling me like that was the lowest of their like more legit like what we think of. And when I look at this list, I'm like, they already hit pretty much all the main titles. You're telling me there's another 50 games beyond that that sold a million that are first party. That's where, to your point, those numbers must be padded to fuck with either eShop games that were like old DS games or like something to that effect because it doesn't make sense to me. Because I know, like, we know Nintendo first parties, like, that's why they can never share, right? They live and die by their first party. It's not their hardware. No one gives a fuck about their hardware. If you could play all these titles on Xbox or PlayStation, no one would give a shit about a Nintendo console. I'm going to say that right now. But I don't believe there's 72 first party from Nintendo without some of that, like, yeah, you get through the eShop and it's the old first party. So you're
Well,
double
actually,
dipping the numbers.
I think it might be legit because I remember we had a list maybe 2, 3 months ago that was looking through the sales numbers of first party games. And that was, that's a little while back. And there were a lot of games that just barely squeaked over a million. Like your 1-2 Switches of the world or your Captain Trode Treasure Tracker, which was like, it was a Wii U game, but, another one that got ported over. And like these ones that barely crested over that million seller mark. So I mean, the Switch has an absolutely insanely big library, for better or for worse. So it could be legit.
I guess maybe, like I said, it goes to what I consider
Right. I know you're
their.
biased. You don't want it to be, but you just got to believe, right?
No, no, no.
Listen to
Listen, there,
Parappa.
there was never a doubt. Nintendo, like, like PlayStation lives and dies by its hardware. Nintendo lives and dies by its first party games, without a doubt. That's why I said no one would give a fuck about any of Nintendo console if those games were available anywhere else. If they became available on PC or something else, oh my god, it wouldn't even be a question. Um, what do you think was the number one bestseller of that list that they showed for over a million?
Oh, it was it's Mario Kart, right?
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 with 67 million sold.
Damn.
So
That's
that's why I said you got that range. Like the next up is Animal Crossing, which I didn't realize that was a first party Nintendo.
yeah.
Is that not available anywhere else?
Nope.
Oh, you know what? I always think of Stardew Valley with that. That's
Yeah,
why.
Stardew Valley's the one that was made by one guy and it's available everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you like I said, from the list you see if you click further, you got the range of Mario Kart 8 at 67 million down to Luigi's Mansion at 1.8. So there must be a lot. The majority of them must be in that like 1.8 to 1 if there's 50 games. And you know what? it being sold, like they could also be dirt cheap games that are on the eShop. They could be like 99 cent to $1 games, and like, yeah, everyone gets them.
I can't think of a single first party Nintendo game that would be that cheap.
I just can't think of 72 first party Nintendo games that are Switch exclusive.
Well, I mean, they're first party, they're not exclusive because there's, like I said, a lot of Wii U ports. Like Luigi's Mansion 2 is a 3DS port.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't think it was ever a doubt Nintendo would dominate. I'm actually shocked how high PlayStation is on that list. Like the original PlayStation.
yeah, I mean, the original PlayStation back then, they made all kinds of new IPs and it was a huge selling console. And
Hmm.
as opposed to today, where it's just, another version of The Last of Us or another Final Fantasy. It's like, yeah. Oh, here's
Well, that's the
Returnal.
thing. We knew
Yeah.
Xbox was always going to be. I'm actually shocked the 360 had 23 on this list. Like that seems pretty good considering.
I mean, the 360 was peak for Xbox. So,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah.
But is N64? Oh, it is on here with 37. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, which actually, like, N64 only had like 300 games. So, like, 10% of the library sold, over a million copies. Pretty good.
Jim, your Wii U only had 20.
I'm shocked it's that high.
Yeah. And I guarantee you most of those reports are the ones that are also double dipped in the Switch numbers.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Actually, I would venture a guess all 20 are in that 72 number.
At this point, it would be all of them except for, I would have to guess, Yoshi's Woolly World, because for whatever reason, that never got ported over.
Damn, the world missed out on that.
That game is a delight. How dare you, sir?
You said that about Flower too. So your
Flower is a
opinion is
delight.
null and void.
It is a delight.
You're null and void, Jim. Null and void.
Bri, you know what else might be null and void? The Super Sega. Bri, the dream, it's over. The dreams are crushed. We might not be getting our fully believable plays everything FPGA solution to all of our Sega woes, Brian. Video Game Esoterica, we've been referring back to him a lot because he's been really hard on like following up with these console. And he released a video last week where the developer, this Alejandro guy, he was interviewed and yeah, apparently all the money is gone. He admitted to it during the course of the interview. So if you watch Esoterica's video, he goes through like a lot. It had to be translated for him because it's all in Spanish. But the long story short is the guy like it's a bizarre interview. Like during the course of it, he's like flashing money at the screen. He's been involved in other scam projects before where like he'll just take some cheap shit from China and put his own little label on it and then resell it that way for like little crappy clone consoles and shit like that. And yeah, apparently he gets drunker and drunker, which man after my heart, during the course of these interviews and basically starts to spill the beans that there's no money left and it's all gone and there's no refunds, even though he said refunds are going out there. So, yeah, Bri, I think he made like 100 grand off this.
Jim, can we agree we as a society need to start accepting that sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. And when you have the Timu or Wish version of Ron Jeremy, this Alejandro dude, there's never been a guy that looked like that ever wasn't trying to scam the shit out of you.
Like, it's amazing to see the video game version of a used car salesman. Like, he's Danny DeVito and Matilda, but like worse somehow.
Way worse. Like so much creepy. Like we joked about how terrible that last trailer video was with him with that shit. And yeah, if you watch a video, he's like driving a Lamborghini, whatever. Like he is God, he's such the epitome of a scumbag. And it's like I almost want Sega to catch a break at this point. Like Sega just can't win even in the third party bullshit market where someone's trying to make something good for the old shit. Like, man, Sega, you need a fucking win somewhere. I don't know where it's going to come from, but yeah, I can't say I'm shocked. How many times is this now? When was the last time we've seen any of these projected systems, crowdfunded bullshit ever go through and actually deliver on their shit. I guess the closest would be what was that one we talked about all the time with the all the modules,
The Polymega.
where that at least from what we last talked about, it works. It might be overpriced, but I think it works, right?
Yeah, it came out. It works. It is overpriced and it's got a lot of tech issues. Like it's not a great emulation solution at all, but it at least came out.
It came
And
out, it
and it
works.
and it works and it does what it says it should be able to do. Like it's not great at it, but it at least
Yeah.
does it.
Not
Yeah.
that's not me giving an endorsement. So, but I'm just saying like think about all of them. Like all the fucking ones. And I remember when we pretty early on, I don't remember the name of some of them, but like we've been talking about how many times the system gets announced. Oh, it's going to be Coleco. It's going to be this. It's going to be that, and it falls apart. And this one definitely seemed like the most out there. Like you're going to really be able to play like every Sega system, CDs too, like all of it on this ugly ass 3D CAD looking ass board. And yeah, it's this fucking guy running it. So when are people going to learn, Jim?
3D ass CAD looking ass.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong, Bri. Just your mastery of the English language, Bri. It's just mwah.
Jim, you mean like the guy they interviewed on Bourbon Street and he was trying to do the Eagles chant and he couldn't even spell Eagles?
Wait, did they do the mayor again, or is that just a different guy?
No, this was a different guy. It was just some random dude. He's like EAGELS Eagle. And even Michael Strahan, he's like, we got to work on that. Like, how many fucking people fuck up that spelling?
All right, so that explains it because I was listening to a lot of talk radio today and sports talk, and they were mentioning about some guy who misspelled it, and I was like, wait, did that happen again? So,
It
oh my
sure did,
god.
Jim. Yeah. And the guy didn't even look particularly drunk, so I can't even like give him that out. Maybe he was. Maybe he was high. I don't know. But yeah, the number of people that fuck up that
Right, the
it's
Bayou had him. All right, you can't be blamed for it. It was game over. All right, the French Quarter will get you.
the real question is like, yeah, no, going back though, like, do you think when are people finally going to be like, oh yeah, I might have all the nostalgia in the world for gaming or whatever, but especially these like homemade console things. When are people going to stop supporting this shit?
I mean, yeah, for every Mister kind of project that does what it does and revolutionizes the game, there's like a dozen complete flops and failures. So, I mean, it's a gamble. I mean, I don't put any of my money towards it until I know it's a product that's done and ready. So, anyone else hoping to dream, Bry, dreaming to prayer,
Jim,
whatever the fucking
here's the
thing is.
deal. I feel like this looks like a guy. Had we not helped intervene with you in college, you'd be like, no, I know this guy. He's a good guy. I just have to keep loaning him money. Like he would definitely be a friend of yours, without a doubt. That's all I'm saying. Like he'd be like, no, he's really cool. He gives me weed sometimes. He listens to Rush. He's really cool. Like you'd have some bullshit excuse about why he's a good guy or why you still hang out with him. And I'd always be like, Jim, come on, what the fuck? And you'd be like, no, no, he's a cool guy. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'd love to, but I can't. That was my MO. It's fine. We live and learn, Bry. Live and learn. New year, new me.
I mean, listen, you got dudes like that. He probably it was a con from the beginning. He probably never had any intent. Dude drives Lamborghinis. But then you got shit on the other end, Jim, where you have arguably one of the most successful game devs out there. And they just need to milk their fans for a little bit more money. So what did the hell did the League of Legends devs do, Chambers?
Well, Bry, so League of Legends, one of the biggest MOBAs that is out there. It's been one of the top games in the competitive gaming scene since what, 2009, probably.
Yeah.
And yeah, during the course of its life, they've had these things called Hex Tech chests, which were free things that you could grind for to get skins, basically. And recently, very recently, as of February 5th, they removed them. or at least a little before February 5th. So yeah, yeah, who's I think it's Riot Games who does League of Legends, and yeah, taking away something previously had. Okay, so posts are often drastically outperform. So basically, yeah, pretty much every post on the League of Legends Twitter account, regardless of topic, has replies filled with players memeing the fact that they want their Hex Tech chests back. Going into
Mhm.
2025, they silently removed the ability to earn these free chests, something that the players have never let them down since. So why were they removed from League of Legends? Well, they eventually made a video and they came out and said it. They said it was because of money.
Mhm.
And they said that they are a free since they are a free to play game that relies on microtransactions to keep the funding in there, to keep the improvements in the game going. They had to basically take this thing that's always been there out, and in order to keep the quality of the game going, as they like to say. The number of people playing League has been pretty stable over recent years, and we're really grateful for that. Our cost to maintain and develop League has also been pretty stable over time, too. Ensuring that we have an equally stable income coming in and to reinvest in the game, however, has been a more recent challenge. So, this meddler guy followed up by explaining that they initially added them wanting to add a reward for paper playing, and they explained that why they wanted to preserve this great player experience, they had to give away fewer skins, and the process of trying to preserve Hex Tech chests is a large part of why premium skins were introduced at an exorbitant price, along with gotcha systems. So yeah, they already have all these different kinds of ways to try and milk money out of people. And
Jim,
yeah, the fans are not happy, Brian.
so I just had to do a quick lookup. So there is something in me where I'm like, all right, these free to play games, I don't doubt. I mean, this thing has to be developed, servers maintained, update patches, you have a staff. I'm not saying it's cheap. How much do you think? And this is reporting up until 2020. So I don't know what it is currently. How much do you think they've made, Jim?
Ooh. Um, Considering I know someone who I won't mention, I think they spent like over 10 grand in skins and different other like purchasable things on League of Legends. I'll go with like 1.3 billion.
1.8.
Damn, so
So
close.
right there. Yeah, so the fact that okay, it's they've made at least 1.8 billion. Like, yeah, the thing about these Hex Tech chests and having never played the game, from what I was reading about them, like they give you a random number of, I'm just gonna call them like skin shards, and you need so many skin shards to get new skins. And apparently, people like grinding for that was enough to have an effect on their costs. Like, I don't know, I don't buy it. I think this is kind of a shitty thing to do to your fan base. Like, do they really think now? Like, I it doesn't make sense. I'm not. I don't know their business model. I don't know what their profit margins are, but yeah, that's just a shitty thing to do to your fan base, especially for a game that is this old. Like, if it was a brand new game and they're like, ah, fuck, it's hitting us, but it's been here forever, and now you're gonna take it out. Like, you milk the shit out of your folks enough. Come on, man. You don't gotta do that shit too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I originally had this down as a gamers mad, but it's like the gamers are 100% justified. It's just like when
Yeah.
Nintendo made the Nintendo Switch Online from free to a pay model. It's just like, yeah, you took something that was free and you made it cost money. Like they like I get them being free to play probably started them off and made them as popular as it was, especially for back then. But it also becomes a thing eventually where it's like, all right, we'll just make people pay for it then at that point. Like I don't know for any new players.
Start it from, yeah, like here's the deal. If you're gonna offer any kind of service, anything, if you start it free and you take it back, that's a shitty thing. Like, charge it from the beginning. Pull the band-aid off first. Not like fucking Netflix incrementally increasing their fucking monthly charges all the time. And now it's like 25 bucks a month and you're like, for what? But then you're like, fuck, I still need it somehow. But yeah.
I've been paying for Netflix since 2011,
Hmm.
and I never ever use it.
Of course not.
My wife on it all the time. My kid, like, she never watches Disney Plus at this point anymore. She eventually just discovered all the random crap on Netflix, and she's just like a Netflix kids girl, like through and through. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't get rid of Netflix at this point. I'm stuck to that goddamn money pit. So,
No.
lucky me.
That's the thing. They each service hooks you with something. It's funny. Speaking of services, as we were talking, I was like, "Fuck, man!" I remember back in the day having to take the disc to Netflix, dropping off Walmart or wherever. Obviously, that went away, and then I remember doing that with GameFly, and I still have like a few like Samurai Showdown, the full collection, keeping that disc just because I wanted it. I was like, I'll pay the $10 or whatever they charge me. Um, that was a good service too to try games, but yeah, the whole disc based, send it out, whatever, goes by the wayside. But
Yeah, I mean, streaming killed that. So, I mean, hell,
yeah,
I'm surprised Redbox lasted as long as it did.
for real. Yeah, I know. But Chambers, you said you thought that would be a good gamers mad, and they are completely justified. The next gamers mad is one where I know we got a comment on a YouTube video, and I've been seeing it a lot. And as the non-Twitter guy, for me to see as much as I have about this, I'm gonna definitely need you to help break a little bit of it down for me because I've seen what I think I understand the sides of it. Tell me about Gamergate and how it could be potentially or government funded, Jim. Tell me all about this.
I hate my life. I hate being the internet guy. I hate every part of it. But I need it. I need it for the content and my hopeless addiction to it. So,
You love it.
so we've been covering Brian, we've been at the ground floor of Gamergate 2 since it started on this goddamn show because lucky us, we've been, a full, well, not full time. It's not our jobs or anything, but we've been
Jim,
weekly
hold
this
on.
entire time.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. As the non-internet guy, and I know we've talked about it, can I give what I think is my summation of what I think other people's summation of Gamergate is?
So the original Gamergate or the Gamergate we're in now?
The original, like
Okay,
what
yes.
sparked it all.
I want to hear your
It's
hypothesize.
it was really blown up with Zoe Quinn, and she made a game about depression or something, and she may or may not have been giving blogies out to certain folks. Maybe. It's all legit, right? And it in turn got a lot of favorable reviews. This somehow got leaked one way or another, and people start saying gaming journalism is bullshit. Everyone's just exchanging favors to get uh, bullshit inflated positive reviews for their games, and the whole industry is a sham, and gaming journalism is not real.
That's not a bad summation at all. So
That's
yeah,
kind of what my understanding is.
yeah, Zoe Quinn made her game Depression Quest, and then one of her exes went to Reddit or 4chan and posted this long
What's the difference
diary.
between those two, by the way?
You know what? Fuck it. At this point, you could just say Reddit's lefty and 4chan's really righty.
Okay, but they still operate.
Well, you know what it is too.
To
4chan is anonymous, so like you never have like your own account. Really, it's all just a series of sequential numbers and crap like that. And
okay.
yeah,
So, other than because we have a Reddit, which somebody set up for us, I still don't understand how to fucking navigate Reddit. So, I'm never on it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I've tried like searching and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. So,
Reddit is its own little ecosystem. It's a whole world
yeah.
up to itself. Like how people care about updates and shit like that over there. It's a whole world to itself. It's a
But
great
4chan
tool.
operates kind of
I
similar to
like I
that.
I wish we got shared more on Reddit because people can get really big by being like shared and promoted on Reddit and crap like that. But
Hmm.
is what it is. 4chan,
Okay.
you're probably not gonna have that same kind of love. Yeah, 4chan is just like a lot of memery, a lot of posting, and basically every ism that's out there, every ism and phobia is like, fair game over there. So whatever tickles your fancy, if you want to be the most you kind of person anonymously, 4chan's the place to be.
I just typed in 4chan and I'm going to say its landing page gives very early 2000 vibes.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's
no,
super
it's
simple.
oh yeah,
Like, what the fuck? Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the guy basically said the guy that got dumped was like, yeah, this stupid, she was sleeping around with all these game journalists, and everyone construed that to basically be like, oh, well, that's why her game got so much love, or maybe he said it, I forget at this point. And yeah, started the whole shitstorm after that. Gamergate was huge. It made YouTube stars out of a ton of people like Sargon of Akkad and Milo Yiannopoulos. The game journalists have never let it go. You can listen to episodes of ours from back in like 2019 where we'll be talking about like a random article and they'll be like, yeah, and then fucking Gamergate. And at that point, it's like no one cared about Gamergate anymore, but the journalists. They kept it alive in people's minds.
Mm.
And yeah, like it was, there's tons of articles written about it. It had an episode of Law and Order SVU written about it. Uh so yeah, hearing Ice-T talk about the gamers on the boards in the dark web, it's a hilarious episode. It's worth watching. But yeah, it was a whole thing. Zoe Quinn was the starter, but the main villain for the gamers in that was Anita Sarkeesian, who had
Oh,
started
no.
her tropes versus women series, part of Feminist Frequency. And yeah, she became like persona non grata for a whole. It got so like crazy that like so many articles were like Gamergate directly led to Donald Trump's first election term. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a whole thing about that. So we are in the midst right now of Gamergate 2, which all I guess basically started with Stellar Blade's tits. I guess. Uh and at the forefront of this round of it is our good buddy Mark Kern, aka Grums. And recently, as of last week, there is a huge story with our new administration in there. Good old Elon Musk is he's trimming the fat, Brian. He's looking through him and an army of 20-year-old Zoomers are looking at different government departments and going, this is wasteful. And one of their biggest hits was USAID, which is a thing I'd never heard of beforehand.
Mhm.
And which originally started out as a way for US to use its money to spread its influence everywhere, which was every fucking part of the government. And eventually just turned into like a way to get funding for pet projects, to put it lightly, I guess. And yeah, one of those pet projects appeared to be the political news outlet Politico, which had been very critical of Gamergate over the past. So, because Politico showed up on this list that you could search for, everyone went, especially Grums. There we go. The government sponsored Gamergate. USAID paid Politico to have Gamergate smeared. And his side has taken that and ran with it 100% completely.
Okay, so let me just so I'm understanding all this fucking verbiage. Let me be clear. When you say Gamergate is smeared, you mean
The original.
no, I'm saying yeah, you're saying USAID paid Politico, which is this site that does whatever the fuck they do, but basically paid them just to make it seem like Gamergate is not a thing, like wipe it clean of it by saying like it's not a real thing, that it's just hearsay.
Oh no! The articles written are all about like why Gamergate's bad, why the people who are involved in it are bad
Oh,
people, why
okay.
it's just about racism and sexism and misogyny and all that shit. And Grums was quoting this Saloniath or whatever the fuck account that said people have wondered if our tax dollars were used to promote wokeness in video games, and the answer is yes. USAID paid Politico millions per year to write pieces like this one, which promotes quote unquote diversity and describes Gamergate as disinformation and a harassment campaign. So yeah, Grums and all the people in that fucking sphere have ran with it, writing articles, making YouTube video after YouTube video saying Politico and the Associated Press and the US government has been spending money to smear the gamers, Brian. But
So,
go on.
no. So I dove into this, and I know you have other links here. One of the people that seems to be trying to defend Politico, Brian Krasenstein, um,
Krasenstein. Yeah.
Krasenstein, said Politico got 44K from USAID for a subscription service that tracks legislation. Musk got 15 billion or whatever it is million from federal contracts and is auditing the government. Can someone explain what's missing here? And somebody wrote, Joe Smith wrote, okay, let's start with why did Politico get 44K to begin with? And Brian says Politico Pro is a premium subscription based service from Politico that provides in depth policy news, analysis, and data tools for professionals in government, business, and advocacy. It offers real time updates, exclusive reporting, yada, yada, yada. So then I was like looking into it. And the bigger problem is there was from the Politico LLC, they've received $8.2 million.
So
Now it
yeah,
just says was spent by government agencies. Now the only thing that's not clear from the picture, and it's in the link below, it says 8.2 million from 237 transactions. It doesn't make it clear who provided all that, but like people are making claims that was 100% by the government, and then they're saying, "Yep, see, USAID gave them 8.2 million." If USAID only spent 44K, the question still becomes why was USAID spending 44K to this particular group? Um, and then you get into a debate of if Politico is this thing that provides analysis or whatever, it still begs a question. Why did they receive that? And could that kind of influence be enough to substantiate some of these arguments? Right? Like, I don't know.
yeah. So from what I've been able to gather, because there is a thing from this guy named Billy Binion, because there is an Twitter guy who said this is the biggest scandal in news media history. No employees at Politico got paid yesterday, which Politico said was an accounting error. So, okay, whatever you want to take from that. And yeah, the 8.2 million is what they've received over the course of Politico's life. So
Yeah.
was spent by government agencies on Politico Pro, a subscription service that tracks legislation. Of that, USAID spent 44,000. So I guess for whatever, what, like USAID is one of those things where like you have to apply for grants from the government, and it's like a branch of that. And I'm not going to sit here and defend USAID because there's a lot of articles out there and a lot of different things that show what USAID was spent on. Like it was spent on a lot of like, like a DEI play in the Netherlands or like a South African version of Sesame Street. Like basically if someone had some idea for a grant, and here's the thing I don't think a lot of the people on here realize is it's not like the government just gave money out. It's people applying for grants for pet projects and it got reviewed by this USAID and then they distributed money as whatever. So it's not like the government went out of its way to like just give money to these
Mm.
projects. So at least as far as I took from it, because a lot of things I saw said from government grants and like that's how grants work. You have to apply for those. So, and if I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong. I don't really fucking care about this point. All I can think of is like just listen to yourself talk. Do you really think the government said, here's an arbitrary amount of money, get those fucking gamers?
That's the point I'm trying to figure out. Where are they thinking this is the smoking gun? Like, and I know Grums is his shtick and whatever, but what I'm really trying to understand is, are they suggesting that through USAID providing money to Politico, that was enough to solidify the fact that gaming journalism was now corrupted or influenced by the U.S. government to promote like I'm trying to understand like what is the purpose? If even if the USA giving them money, whether you agree with it or not, was the ulterior motive to influence them to do what? That's my question.
Yeah, it's the old who benefits kind of line. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, the 8.2 million was over the entire life of it. So I'm trying to see. It looks like it started getting money mostly from the government around 2018, 2019. So that was like still Trump era. So why would Trump era be giving money to Politico at that point? And it's funny because of that political pro and all that crap. Like there would be people going, look at this scandal. The government paid people to be woke. And then they would turn around like Lauren Boebert, who we talked about before in the Krusty Kerner. People are like, bitch, your office uses Politico Pro. So like this is stuff that people are able to track. And they don't even know what they're doing. Like it's just a thing to track legislation bullcrap. So yeah. But that whole side is just going, well, if A plus B equals C, then C obviously has to, go against D. So they're just saying just because this got some money somehow from the government, that means that they, out of all the articles Politico has written over the years, that 44 obviously had to just been gone to bashing gamers and gamergaters.
So and
The
yeah,
stretch of all stretches.
well, and that's the thing is, listen, I don't doubt there. I feel like the truth is somewhere in the middle. Do I believe there could have been some, hey, we're going to fund you, but like it would be really good if you focused in on some things? Maybe.
Yeah, of
But
course. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like Grums and folks like that. So their belief is the original Gamergate was this thing of exposing journalists or gaming journalists. At the end of the day, which I don't give a fuck what industry you're in. You're saying you're shocked that people pay other people favors to get favorable things. Like, do you not know how every industry in this world works?
Yeah, it's
Is that
called
that
that's
much of a shock?
yeah, that's duh. Like, yeah.
But like they're acting like they're revealing a plot of like, hey, do you know doctors are actually legit killing people? Like you're talking about fucking gaming journalism at the end of the day. Like the spectrum of importance is very low. Like, oh man, they really told me this game was good. They fucked me good. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So now you have this multi-level of the government's attacking gamers or specifically right-wing gamers who believe this. Like I'm just trying to I'm really trying to understand like if there was money spent period and it was trying to influence the gaming industry or Politico or whoever the fuck this is, yeah, that is fucked up. But outside of it's fucked up, what kind of impact did it have at all is my question.
Oh yeah, and like all these people who are promoting this idea right now, like they're all bad actors because they're all promoting the same clipped screenshot from another site because someone looked up feminist frequency, Anita, and it said 100 some thousand, 130,000 or something or other. Everyone went, "Oh my god, the government fucking gave money to Anita." But it's a funny little screenshot because the very end says gov and then it's $0. So if you get the full screenshot, it says government grants $0, like other funding, the rest of it. And then like apparently they maybe got in total from the US government like $6, like an accounting error of some sort. Or maybe someone who worked in government was a Patreon subscriber or something like that. So but they're all pointing to this as a smoking gun. Even fucking Grums promoted this screenshot, and when it like everyone pointed out like what it really was, he just quietly deleted it without ever addressing it again. So like none of them care about like accuracy when it comes to this shit. They just want your anger so they can get their Twitter bucks from you. It's so fucking stupid.
Well,
And
and
like
I guess maybe that is the maybe that's the answer. Or like, okay, let's assume Grums, people like that, they believe they are on this crusade of like we need to get to the truth. Like I said, what if their deepest, darkest belief becomes true that the government gave 44K and like you said, they said write articles that basically say Gamergate was bullshit, slash these people. What comes from that? Like what is the outcome that they want versus like I feel like this is how I feel with every conspiracy theorist. Like the amount of people I've argued with about fucking flat earthers. I'm like, why would you lie about that? Like what would be the benefit? Well, it's easier to control people on a ball. What the fuck does that mean? Like that's not a thing. So once again, what would be the purpose? Like at the end of the day, there's always got to be like a you do this because it would result in blah, right? If Gamergate is real and people were being paid off to whatever, like create more diversity, okay, now what?
But it's wrong, Bri. It's wrong. You can't be doing it.
I'm just like I said, I'm really trying to understand. Like, is there a really ominous thing that I'm missing here?
No, Bri. But his newly pinned tweet, Bri, because he's just been on a rampage and getting all these updates. You destroyed our industry, ruined our games, spread poison and fear through developers, and tried to kick us all out. Kindly fuck off. We're back. And that's their whole thing. They're saying we just keep winning.
I mean, has gaming lost money? Have games not been developed? That's the part I'm trying to understand here. Like, yes, there has been some shitty games made,
Yeah,
but there's always been shitty games made. Has anyone ever played half the library of the NES? Like, there's plenty of shitty games back then. They didn't need government funded shit
it's
to like
because of woke.
like that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, I don't know. Like, do I d have some people maybe been more highlighted that probably weren't good and probably were negative, and maybe they were agenda pushing? Absolutely. I believe that 100% too. Like, both things can be true, right? Like, yeah, that there's enough of a gaming sphere where it's like just like real world. Some people were over here and it was shitty stuff on this side. Some people were over here and there's shitty stuff on this side. Like, I don't know why it's such a crazy idea, but like for them to act like gaming has been ruined forever, I'm like, have you played Doom from 2016? Are you gonna play the new one? Have you played any Call of Duty? Like, it's the same Call of Duty it's always been. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but
Quick shout out to David Vaver of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 for pushing back against these retarded fucks, and he's already sold 1 million copies within like the first under a week of coming out and having massive success. So it's just like, yeah, it's what it comes down to. It's just like, yes, I agree with you because it's like obviously depending on who's in power at the time, the companies are going to go overboard with trying to suck up to the ideals of whoever's out there. Like we had years of, a lot of progressive stuff just being thrown out there, thrown out there, thrown out there, and you knew it was just pandering. Like when every company changes their fucking avatar during Gay Pride Month or Black History Month, they don't really mean
yeah,
it.
it's
Shit like
complete
that.
pandering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just that and trying to be like, oh, but we're the most of this. You should come to our side. Like you can see through the bullshit. But like we're having a complete like overcorrection to the other side now where everyone's just like, oh, well, fucking Daddy Trump's in office. So, all right, you're out of here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, extremism on either side has always has this reflective thing, right? Like, that's why, yeah, unfortunately, it maybe swung too far into that direction where now it's emboldened people who previously would have been like, whatever, but you went a little too far. Now it's over here and it's fucking nuts. Like, and it's going to keep doing this until somebody's like, let's just try to get it back to here, right back in the center, somewhere here.
It's never happening again. It's over. We will never have normal discourse again. The days of discourse are over, Brian.
So
50 team,
yeah,
Brian. It's all team sports now. But yeah, it just fucking sucks. It's so stupid. I hate that I have to see this shit every goddamn day, but it's so fucking interesting and it's such easy
hmm
content too. Like I like as much as I hate so many of these people, I can't look away. And like that enforces me because it's like, all right, that seems bad. Let me just do 2 minutes of research. Oh, there's a completely reasonable explanation. Like it always comes back to Occam's razor.
So Jim, yeah, I mean, to your point, it's a lot of great content. It's part of the reason why I can't dive into it. That shit is just too wacky for me. Of course, unfortunately, it will be something I'm sure we'll see more on. Um, but yeah, folks, don't go down that rabbit hole. It's not worth it. Just grab a couple beers you enjoy. Grab a couple games. That's all you gotta do. Keep
Right.
life simple.
Do you know how hard it is to not take the bait and try to just become like angry reply guy on Twitter? Because I just see
Uh,
it's like, you stupid but it's like a Twitter fight never solves anything. Maybe you'll get more eyes on the page, maybe it'll be for the greater good for us, but it's just a level of stress I don't want to deal with, Brian.
it's not worth it. you can't ever actually tie your emotion to any of this shit, Jim. You just got to be like, all right, this is what they do. But Jim, on a good note, there's a little bit of redemption arc for this beer. Um, Now, granted, I'm coming off a beer I really, really didn't like, but compared to it warm, I enjoyed this much more. Once again, this is the Broad Street Brewing's Hey Yo Hazy IPA, 6.4%. So a lot better. Yeah, have it cold if I could give one suggestion. And how did you enjoy the Sly Fox?
This was fantastic. So, I mean, if you want to have something craftier, but you fucking hate IPAs, just go for a lager. And we've talked about it 1,000 times before. A lot of breweries don't do craft lagers because they're very easy to fuck up. It's not like an IPA where you can just say, oh, it's a different strand of IPA because it's hoppy horseshit. A Vienna lager is a Vienna lager, and this is a damn good one. So, if you can get your hands on this, you might as well drink the brew of winners, Brian.
And Chambers, much like the Eagles, it's time for us to blow the whistle on this episode. See what I did there?
I like it.
So with that, guys, we want to say thank you all so much for listening and watching. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit the subscription, hit the notification, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. And if you are listening on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, make sure you hit the subscription. And if you give us a 5-star rating, we'll read each and every one of those comments on these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. And for the last time for 8 months, go birds.
Woo!